President Donald Trump was in charge of that process.
Lady, your time has expired. Gentleman from Jackson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. To speak from a microphone, not my own.
Proceed.
And to speak on the bill, Madam Speaker.
Proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I wanted to take a minute, and sometimes it feels like we get in a little bit of a bubble here in the Capitol building, and we all feel like we've got a really big soapbox sitting in front of us, and we need to get on it. And I appreciate that. But I can tell you, I sit back in my desk yesterday, listened to much of our debate and back and forth. And if I didn't know better and was listening to about half of it, I would understand that I think everybody on one side of me is a racist, fascist. Everybody on the other side is some kind of pinko communist, and we're all trying to do terrible things to the state of Missouri. And I don't believe that's true. And I think that our state deserves better in this kind of conversation. I'll be candid with you. I was glad that I got elected in 2024 because I thought I wasn't going to have to do this debate and this conversation for a very long time, if ever. But that's what I get for thinking that I was going to get to avoid this. And I will just say I'm not mad at one side of this room for starting this thing, because I don't think they did. Just to be, I like everybody else, sit and watch the news as I was enjoying what I thought was going to be a mid-session break. And there was the push to do redistricting now in the middle of the decade. Texas started, flipped 5 seats. California responded and flipped seats to do that. Now we're on to Missouri to change some seats and try to give advantage to one side. I would just suggest that I don't think it's right to call this a Missouri First map, because I think it's anything but. I think it puts Missouri last and draws the rest of the state into this race to the bottom of the political swamp to try and gerrymander and get advantage and take the opportunity to move the goalposts, to get a little bit of advantage right now and not think about what it's going to do in the long term. And where does this go? We just keep redistricting every year. Is it going to be convenient next year to come back and do this all over again when we decide it's not good enough? Or maybe when CD1 has moved just enough on the needle to not be majority and minority anymore, and we can change that one too. I think there are real problems and real issues in our state that we could and should be talking about today, but instead we're here drawing our per diems and talking about redrawing lines on a map at a time that all of us know we shouldn't be doing it. There are row crop farmers. They got beans in the ground right now that they're already underwater on before they've even harvested them. We could do something about that. We got rural hospitals that are closing all over the state. People are having to drive farther to get care, or they're not able to get it at all, and we could do something about that. We got schools and libraries, fire districts, ambulance districts that are worried about what their funding is going to be like next year. They're worried about what SB3 and that's going to do to their funding. We could do something about that. I've been on a property tax committee, and one of my colleagues always likes to ask, when is it enough? In talking about when we've taken enough in light of the people that are struggling to pay for their homes, struggling to stay in their homes. And I would ask that today. When is it enough? In light of all the things that we could and should be talking about, and I appreciated the conversation, at least brief, about the budget hole and the issues with Medicaid and the FRA funding that we're looking at. It's going to be about $1.3 billion when fully implemented that we're going to have a hole in our budget. We need to talk about that. We need to do something about that. When is it enough? When has there been enough political advantage gained from this particular moment when we decided we have to do this, when we'll start talking about the real issues and the real problems that our constituents are facing?
Your time has expired. Gentleman from Jackson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. To inquire of the